Hello and welcome. My name is Gareth Grauke and today I'm joined by Dr. Catherine Donnelly of Heriot-Watt University to discuss the second phase of the Optimising Future Pension Plans research programme. Catherine, can you tell us a bit about the second phase of the programme and how it will build on phase one?
Yes, so we will be focusing on pooled annuity funds and collective defined contribution plans. So pooled annuity funds will be focusing on their primary benefit, the longevity risk sharing aspect of it. So what is the benefit to individuals and then all the risks around that. So we'll be looking at systematic longevity risk. How does that affect the income paid from pooled annuity funds? What happens whenever such funds close down? How can you deal with the risks around that? What sort of investment strategies can you be using for that? We're also going to look at collective defined contribution plans. So although a pooled annuity fund could run as a collective defined contribution plan, we'll be primarily focusing on something like the Royal Mail CDC plan. And in such a plan, there is both longevity risk sharing and there is investment risk sharing. So again, what are the benefits of doing this? And what we're trying to do is put some numbers into the discussion around this. So we're trying to quantify the benefits. So is it worthwhile for each individual to be in such a scheme? And would they be better off doing something else, or would they be better off in a CTC plan? Now, this is building on what we've done in phase one. So in phase one, we were looking at, for example, we started looking at longevity risk sharing. So we're looking at how many people do you need in a pooled annuity fund to adequately pool idiosyncratic longevity risk. We also looked at pre-retirement investment strategies in order to give you a much more certainty about the distribution of your pension savings at retirement. And we're going to build on all these results. We came up with a new innovative structure to incorporate into a pooled annuity fund, a bequest, and we'll be building on all this work that we've done in phase one in order to do our phase two work. And I highly recommend that people look at the outputs we've had from phase one. So in particular, for example, we did 2 state-of-the-art reports, so one on decumulation strategies, so that's how you generate an income from your pension savings in retirement, and also investment risk sharing, to see what's been done in both the academic literature and also in industry on these 2 things. So please have a look at what we've done in phase one on the IFOA Actuarial Research Centre website. So we have there 2 state-of-the-art reports done on investment risk sharing and on pension decumulation strategies. So that's how you should withdraw your income in retirement. And we reviewed what has been done in academic literature and in industry on these topics. We also have all the papers produced from phase one and webinars on that if you prefer to view them as webinars. So please have a look and see what we've done to date, and we'll be doing similar things in the future for phase two.
That's exciting. Could you tell us, in your view, what this research means for the profession?
So what we're aiming to do in this research is to bring some independent scientific evidence to this discussion. So at the minute, what we have in the UK is we don't really have a good default solution for what you do with your money in retirement. Now, there are very few people buying life annuities in retirement, so about 10% of the people who have a pension pot have been buying a life annuity in the last few years. And the only other option really is income drawdown, so either some product you buy from an insurance company or a fund manager, or else some DIY version of it. And I think there's recognition that this really isn't suitable for everybody. So some people that will be grand, the income drawdown, but for many other people it's not. And so what we want to do is see, for example, for pooled annuity funds, are they something that could be used as a genuine mass market solution to deliver to people what they want, a stable lifetime income? With regards to employer pension plans, so again, we've seen this move from defined benefit pension plans, which have closed throughout the UK. There's very, very few of them open. And people be moved into defined contribution pension plans. Now, defined contribution plans are really, let's face it, they're a savings investment plan with tax benefits. They don't deliver what people want, an income in retirement. So they have to, again, figure that out for themselves. So, for example, in that space, for collective defined contribution plans, so we have the Royal Mail one, that should shortly be enabled in the next few years. Is that something that really is suitable for, let's say, the mass market for many employers? Should they be genuinely considering setting them up? So we're looking at trying to answer that question to quantify the benefits of collective defined contribution plans.
Excellent. What is the impact your research aims to achieve?
So what we hope to do is have people citing our papers, that they can use them and they can see for themselves, so they can read our papers and then decide for themselves. Now, we will be publishing everything that we produce, so that will include not only the academic papers that we will deliver as part of this, but we'll also be making available all the computer programs that we use. Right, so everything should be completely open, and you can take those things and try it out for yourself. So what we'd like to do is just be very open, and people can have a discussion then about the pros and cons, but let's just put some numbers into this debate to allow people to make that discussion and try and move it forward. So instead of people making or coming out with statements that they haven't perhaps justified through modelling or something like that, let's see, for example, a big discussion is about cross subsidies between generations in CDC plans. Well, really, how big is that cross subsidy? Because it definitely does exist, but how big is it? And does the size of it outweigh the other benefits you get from a CDC plan? So let's just put some numbers into that debate and move it forward to see should more people be considering CDCs and pooled annuity funds more generally.
Excellent. That's great. And moving on to the structure of the research itself, how do you think the research is likely to be structured?
Well, I think for people like actuaries, the members of the profession, what they'll see is we'll obviously be doing stuff behind the scenes, but what they'll see is they will see the papers that we produce. So these will be peer-reviewed papers published in journals, and as well the computer programs that we will have released. So this will all be available on the IFOA Actuarial Research Centre website under the programme phase 2 pages. But we'll also do regular webinars. We'll release short videos in each paper to just give you a very fast synopsis of what it's about. And we're very happy to come and talk to people about what we're doing. So it could be through your company seminars. We're very happy to do that as well. So we're really just very open to communicating our results to everyone. So whatever means we can do that by.
Great stuff. Final question for me. How do you hope that this project changes the way we all think about future pension plans?
So I hope that people will consider more seriously collective risk sharing. So at the minute, what do we have? We have a situation where risk has been entirely moved back to the individual. So you see that from the movement from DB pension plans to DC, all the risk is on the individual. You see it in the retail sector, where again, we don't have mandatory life annuity purchase anymore. And again, in income drawdown, all the risk is on the individual to manage their income in retirement. And that, I believe, is really too much for the individual. So what we can do through the collective risk sharing structures is not only reduce their risk to the individual, that's the big possibility of these structures, not only reduce their risk, but basically ask them the questions that they can answer, right? So instead of asking people, what level of investment risk do you want to take? How long are you going to live for? All these difficult questions that no one can answer well, and it's very hard to relate to what people want in retirement, stable income. Instead, the way these structures are done is that you will just be asking the natural question, which is what level of income do you want in retirement? In a CDC plan, it's not structured so that the person thinks about how much money they've accumulated. It's structured in terms of income. And when people are given an income in retirement and they're asked, how happy do you feel? They're very happy with DB pension plans. People who've bought a life annuity are very happy once you've bought the life annuity. Right? There's very few people express a regret about that. In pooled annuity funds, again, the income would be expressed in terms of an income rather than a focus on fund values. So we have at the moment a huge focus on fund values that it's very deceptive to the individual because you see this very large fund value and it's very hard to relate to what that means for an income in retirement. So we want to shift that focus through just this collective risk sharing. We'll just naturally shift that focus to an income-based focus rather than a fund value-based focus. So people can understand what they will get in retirement.
Brilliant. Something that I'm sure we all have a very strong interest in. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Donnelly. That's been a fascinating look at the forthcoming Optimising Future Pension Plans Phase 2 research programme. Please do check that out. It's on the Institute of Faculty of Actuaries website under the Actuarial Research Centre. Thank you ever so much for your time, Dr. Donnelly. It's been fascinating.